Hi everybody, and welcome to the Electronic Harassment Parent Coalition of Palm Springs, California. My name's Kevin Bond. I'm the host for the show and the blog owner, along with my partner Christopher Monty. And I wanted to take some time today, first of all, to say thank you to Mr. Michael Bell for The Invisible Crime. As you can see, I'm in the middle of reading that there. It's a great book. It's one of the most thorough that I've ever seen research-wise, and gives a pretty good idea as to how some of these people operate. He does have a Palm Springs connection, though I don't think he has connected his implantation with the people in Palm Springs. He's pretty certain it happened in Los Angeles, where we have a huge problem with electronic harassment. I know, because when I went down there, Lisa and her brother had people following me down there, and it was quite harrowing. I will say it wasn't fun, and it was I was followed everywhere I went. I was put through a lot of different things. My tire blew out when I was down there, and I ended up spending about 3 days in the streets down in Los Angeles trying to avoid these people following me around, which was really quite difficult. That's part of my story, but not part of Mr. Bell's. Mr. Bell has a really good story of his own. It's really interesting, and I would get the book if I was you. Parents, I encourage it. It's well written. He's a Hollywood screenwriter and a caterer, so it's well written, and it's a pretty good account of what I've been telling you is going on in Palm Springs, only without Lisa, who we call Lori, since we have emails from somebody named Lori Johnson, pretending to be, some kind of hired surveillance person for the police and for private individuals. Today's postings, I want to make sure I'm very clear on this, because you know how Lori likes to be. When you look at the blog header, you'll see a woman tied up. It's from one of those, trashy pulp fiction-y kind of erotic novels about loose ends and tying people up, and that's not me. I have absolutely no kind of bondage fantasies. I don't have any sexual fantasies towards women. I don't look to control women, nothing like that. It is posted merely as a suggestion as to what her fantasies are like, Lori's. And if you are a victim of this crime, you know that she is a sexual sadist. She spends all of her time trying to control gay men, women, and their sex lives. And if they have like a partnership with somebody, or if a man's married to a woman, she tries to insert herself into these relationships to try to cause problems. And that's one of the things that we've noticed the most with her and her brother, is that they think they have a right to try to control who we are, and I don't like it, and it's one of the parts that I have been dealing with for a long time. So it does remind me of the case of the toy box killer down in New Mexico, which you will see featured today. And he was a very sadistic kind of man, but it was a man and a woman team, similar to what we're dealing with now. That the man would go out and abduct some woman, and they would bring her to the house, and both the man and the woman would torture her, and then he would eventually take them to what he called the toy box. And if you know anything about how this torture is, when you're arrested by the police, I don't know how many other people were out there, but I know there's a few, where Lori is telling you, well, they're going to bring you to the old Palm Springs jail. The night that I was arrested at my neighbor's house, she kept telling me that, where you were going to be locked in a dungeon, and she was going to mistreat you sexually and otherwise. It is a really, really, really difficult situation when you don't know what's going on to hear something like that, especially for a gay man like myself. To have the added threat of being sexually assaulted by a woman is not exactly something that we like, and or a man for that matter. But I just wanted to be clear that today's postings are all about the kind of things that we have to be put through when we are electronic harassment victims of this brother and sister. And it all goes to their sexual control fantasies about hurting people. And it's, you know, I don't really know where this comes from with her. I certainly have absolutely no sexual feelings towards her or her brother. I don't really know her brother, and she is probably the biggest sexual turnoff I've ever met. She's not anybody that I, as a gay man, would be interested in. However, you know, she is fascinated with gay men and sex, and I think that when the time comes, we will show that she does have a proclivity for painful gay male pornography erotica. And I think it is one of the things that I think that she has conducted herself in a way with everybody that shows that she doesn't, you know, she's kind of missing up here. There's something to do with child victims. Myself, with this person, I feel like when I was 13 years old, she assaulted me verbally in a very sexual manner. And I think that with the advent of this technology, she was able to continue to try to harass the person that she sees as a little boy. I'm a 46-year-old man. And I feel like every day that I am being molested by this person as she sits on the end of her microphone and tries to remind me of things that she's seen, or things that she's like warped in her mind to believe to be some way else. I'm nothing like what she describes people to be, and all my friends will tell you that she really has a poor opinion of, you know, me as a nice person. And I really don't understand how a person can hate a person for being so nice, but that's what she tells people. And I guess that's a compliment in a way, but for her it angers her, and she goes into this little, you know, Lucille Ball thing where she thinks, you know, things like, oh, I'm so mad at him, and oh, you know, and everything sounds like a Lucy episode. And if you watch I Love Lucy, you can tell that she gets so frustrated and mad at Ricky and all this other stuff, and it's really childish, and it's really kind of telling about the kind of person that she is. So today's postings are all about, you know, what we go through as harassment victims. Also, I just posted a small article about how I think that our legal team should proceed in terms of 2 crimes that were committed in the San Diego area, for which one, there is a police report that's still workable about my shooting, where, you know, Lisa has run around told everybody that her brother is the one that did it. She told him to. And I know Jonathan Mendenhall knows that that's the truth, and I know that there are others that she told this happened, and she uses it as a scare tactic to say things like, you know, if you don't do what I tell you to, this will happen to you too. And for me, that's, you know, it's quite, you know, a good experience to know that, you know, what was before unknown as to why I was shot at. I mean, I had no idea, and who was following me around, but it makes total sense now. And then the other crime that was committed in the San Diego area was the rape of Christopher Monty, for which he was implanted. Now, I do know his part of the story was that there was a man named David Beach that was that had invited him to go to what he called his place down in San Diego, and Christopher confided in me that, you know, something horrible happened there, but he had very little memory of it. He knew that he had been sexually assaulted. He knew that he was in a lot of pain. He was very angry about it. Some of his things were stolen, and we believe that they are in the possession of Lisa and her brother. And this happened in the La Jolla area, which would make it the jurisdiction of the district attorney for San Diego, Bonnie Dumanis. A very nice woman, a lesbian, and somebody that we have worked with before. Also, the ensuing electronic harassment that Christopher and I go through. I working as a federal agent at the time of the crime committed against me in San Diego, and Christopher's implantation down in the San Diego area would make it a federal crime. And she could work closely with my friend Laura Duffy, who is now the U.S. Attorney. And so if Laura Duffy or Miss Dumanis are seeing this, hi Laura. Haven't seen you in a long time. I miss you. I would love to work with you. on this case. I'd love to help the federal government just like I always have. I haven't changed. I'm still the same person, and I would really, really like a chance to tell you about this story, about this brother and sister who literally tortured me down in San Diego while I was working as a federal agent, and then found Christopher Monty, who later would become my boyfriend, and did the same thing to him. We're both police informants for Sergeant Anderson of the Palm Springs Police Department. We have reported things like a terrible amount of mortgage fraud owed by the subject of our informant work, Stephen Fry, about $500,000. The police department did nothing about it. Anthony Davieri, another person that was working with me as my informant, also saw a lot of child pornography, and we reported that to the police department. They did nothing about it. So we want to make sure that we get the right information to the right people. So Lord Duffy, Miss Duffy, if you are out there, hi again. It's good to see you. I'm still the same guy. I'm still a hardworking guy. I know you remember me from Judge Storm's chambers and possibly from Judge Enright's chambers. And I just want you to know that I've been working on this case ever since I left the courthouse. And I want to help you and Miss Dumanis put a stop to the electronic harassment that's going on in San Diego, largely in part of this man and his sister, who are still stalking me. But the police don't seem to want to do anything about it out here, and I think it's just because of their involvement with them. So, Laura, if you're out there, Miss Dumanis, if you're out there, we want to work with you, and I want to make sure that I give you everything that I possibly can. I'm sure Christopher would do anything to find out who did this to him. There are videotapes of maps to a place down in La Jolla where I believe he was sexually assaulted. There is a suspect named David Beach that can give information about what happened there. And I want to make sure that all of you know that we're going to do whatever it takes legally to find these people and make them responsible. But in the meantime, I want you guys to go out and get The Invisible Crime by Michael F. Bell. It's a very good book. It's endorsed by Dr. John Hall, my friend and colleague. And do yourself a favor and read it cover to cover, because it is a pretty good count of what happens. Thank you very much. I love you, Christopher, and I hope that this helps. All right, bye.